And hello, movie lovers, and welcome to the show. For tonight's podcast episode, we're going to be talking about Squids, or is it called Squids? It's called Squids, Season 1, Episode 1,
No, it's
Squid
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 Game.
Games.
Games.
Squid Game.
Squid
You
Games.
just
Yeah, I
watched
knew
it,
that.
bro.
Hey, I knew that. I just want to see if you knew. Frenchie's on the show, so this is why it's miscombobulated a little bit. But
Yeah. Well,
but anyways, we're talking about Season 1, Episode 1 of Squid's Game, and basically, anyways, this episode is actually called Red Light, Green Light, and I have to say I liked this episode. I thought this was a good opening for what it is on what we're about to get. It feels like a live action anime in a sense with the way that it's actually delivered, the way that the dialogue is actually flowing, also to the sound effects as well. To me, feels like a little bit of an anime kind of style and everything, especially when you have the big, huge piggy bank that with the cash flow of money and everything that's going to be popping up in it later on when we talk about that. But at first I had a little bit of a hard time following in it a little bit because of the dialogue and some of the stuff that was going on. But after you get fully invested about 30 to 40 minutes in, it starts getting better to where I feel like it's actually ironing out everything. And in case anybody doesn't know, it's about this guy named Singong Ji Han. He's down on his luck, having accumulated enormous debts with loan sharks. While at a train station, he asked by a well-dressed man to play a game of what is that? Dikeji or something like that?
Which the well-dressed man, for those that have seen Train to Busan, it's the main character, makes a cameo in this, which is pretty cool.
yeah.
I thought he looked familiar because I actually liked that movie.
One of the best zombie movies out.
Yep.
Seriously.
But yeah, so what's y'all's initial thoughts on it?
I have to disagree on the whole anime thing. I understand where you're going from, but there's a show that Sean mentioned, which is Alice in Borderlands. That feels like an anime show. That really feels like something very over the top, but awesome to look at. This feels really grounded. So I understand where you're going from, but this doesn't feel a pure anime. It just feels like a really well thought out show, thought out story. And I was like you a bit, not sure what the fuck I was watching at first. The setup, you can see it's a gambling problem. He doesn't have his life together, but more things were advancing, more I can see where they're going with. I wasn't just sure how they would handle the games because I knew there was going to be games and life and death consequences. But I'll be honest, like you, John, at 43 minutes, I was hooked. When I saw what was going on, I saw the approach they were having into the games they were presenting to us. This was an American production. Americans would have made over the top, gory, almost like Saw-like things. This was something that really, really personally brought a uniqueness and a simplicity that you don't always get in these type of a trap or game with dire consequences type of movies or shows. So for me, it was refreshing.
What about for you, Sean?
Yeah, the first episode is pretty dope. I thought it was a really good setup. You had about 30, 40 minutes of setting up the main character, who kind of honestly he's kind of a piece of shit in the very beginning. And you're getting to know him. He has a gambling problem. He also has a daughter. He kind of steals from his mom, so it's just kind of messed up. So it's weird how in the beginning of the show, you kind of I don't know. I didn't really like the guy. I'm like, oh man, this guy's he has some problems. But then once he gets going and he gets entered into these games, and you can kind of see that he actually kind of has a good heart in the end. But yeah, first 40 minutes is kind of slow pacing, building, build up. And then once they get to the games, it's honestly, it's one of the most perfect designed first episodes to where it gives you the backstory. And then at the very last 20 minutes, you're just instantly hooked right at the end because it ramps up the action and the intensity. Charlie?
I mean, the opening was weird for me. It was like, okay, he's playing this game called Squid Game, and he was describing it, and I was like, okay, is it going to be more than just this game that he's describing as a kid? I don't know. I mean, again, I like you, Sean. I didn't care for the guy. I thought he was, like you said, he was a piece of crap. And then he's like, and then he finds out and he has a kid, pays a kid to win a crane machine thing. And I knew about the crane machine because for a while I was really good at the skill crane stuff.
Wasn't that funny though? Like him, like essentially recruiting that little boy to help
I know.
him.
Just shows you how he's like this bad he is. And then it turns out, oh yeah, you got a gift. Why would you put a gun in the crane?
It's a lighter, Charlie. It's not a gun.
I thought it looked like I thought
Oh,
it
it is a gun.
It is a gun, but then when he
lighter.
pulls the trigger, it's.
I mean, it's like, but it's like that's not it. Like it just shows you what kind of a douche of father you are. Like, yeah, and your daughter is going to be getting is going back into the States.
Yeah.
And I'm
Well,
like,
remember, there's
okay.
that scene to where he steals his mom's card and he's trying to put in the pin and it's not working.
Oh.
And then he puts in his daughter's birthday and it works. And he's like, "Oh, my grandma or my mom likes my daughter better than me."
Yeah, and then like the sequence where he was getting tortured by that, I couldn't watch. That was like sticking the thing up his nose. I thought they were gonna cut something. I just couldn't do that. And then, and again, I don't know. I wasn't a huge fan. I'm the only outlier here. I wasn't a huge fan of the only part I liked was them making a child's game kind of like a horror, like a survival horror. Like you need to win at red light, green light. If not, you're going to get shot either in the stomach and multiple times or in the face. And I like that they didn't go full Saw because I don't like when they do that gore for the sake of being it. Like just like we got to make it violent and that's what they can get away with a lot of the censors and stuff overseas. So and I appreciate that they didn't really take full advantage of that. And then the sequence was brutal. And who knew a kid's game could kill you? Like, I mean,
They didn't.
that's
Not
the only part that I enjoyed. Again, I don't know if I'm fully hooked on these characters. There's just too many. Again, I don't know. I don't think plan to continue on, but that's me personally.
What I find interesting, and this might be just the approach of Korean content, but they seem to like to bring the characters who are flawed. They're not the perfect people that got it together in a lot of the American stuff, right? This kind of reminds me a bit like the first time I was introduced to the main character in Old Boy. He's a drunk. He's a piece of shit. He's not a good person per se. And then you see, what he's really made of. And that the same feel I have I had in this, or like in The Host, right? The monster movie. I don't know if you guys saw it. Mm-hmm. Again, extremely imperfect, doesn't have shit together, and then it's a journey of finding who you truly are, right? And it's the same approach in the Squid Game for me. And I actually like those kind of characters because it's not something you always see repeated in the usual, formulaic American TV show or movies. So I gladly welcomed it. And to Charlie's comment on there's a lot of characters, yes, there's 426 players. For sure, you're going to have a lot of characters. But if you continue it, there's certain
it
characters,
whittles them down.
It whittles them down, but there's some interesting standouts. Some stay and some don't last long. But there's interesting standouts that really portray, again, interesting characters that we don't usually see in North American content. So I actually love the approach.
You're muted.
You're muted, John.
You see, I actually like the idea of characters that we don't root for right away.
Yeah.
I like layers to the character. Yeah, this guy's a douchebag. He's a total ball bag whenever it comes down to stealing his mom's money. And then also, too, he has a daughter that he cares about, but also at the same time, his addiction is what's killing him, basically, where he winds up, if you think about it, it kind of reminds me of Woody Harrelson from Money Train, where he's an addicted gambler, degenerate gambler. Every single time when he has money, he always winds up losing it. He winds up betting the money, or he winds up getting mugged and everything. So I definitely like the dynamic. Okay, he won at this horse racing thing that they had, and then all of a sudden he had the money. Next thing you know, he gets robbed, and you're thinking that, there's something good that's going to happen to him, and then all of a sudden life knocks him down, and then he has to try to figure out another way, another angle for him to have money. And then he also owes money to loan sharks. He owes money to his mom. He owes money to everybody and stuff like that. And his favorite line is, "I'll pay you back," knowing that you can't pay that person back because of how high his debts are. And I like that dynamic because now you have a reason and a motivation as to why he's in these Squid Games to begin with, is to pay his debts and also to maybe redeem himself from the crappy person that he actually is. And to be fair, that crane thing, whenever he gets the kid to win the prize, he doesn't know that there's actually a pistol inside the box. He's thinking it's something nice for his daughter.
Yeah, box looks
and
pretty.
everything, because all he sees is this nice little box in a bow. He's like, okay, I may not have money for fried chicken like my mom wants me to do for her to take her out, but I can win her this prize. And so it was a B. It was like it was a gun that has to be a lighter. And I like the fact that he was at least going out trying, but at the same time, it's his own fault for doing the things that he was doing. And he has no one else to blame but himself. And also, too, the thing that made you cringe, Charlie, with the knife, that's what made me like really tense up for me. That worked for me. And I was like, ooh, this guy is in over his head. He does not know who he's messing with. And he owes these people this money. But I know you want to say something, though, Frenchie.
Well, no, I would just clear out my throat,
Right.
but since
no,
I have the
it's
mic,
cool.
might as well
It's
talk. But no, for me, again, we're all imperfect. We all have our fuck ups, right? And that's what annoys me when American TV, especially the really shiny ABC, NBC, CBS shit, as they all look so put together. I don't have my shit together. I'm still trying to figure out how not to be a man-child half of the time, and that's what life is, right? And that's what kind of brought me interested in the show, because he is a man-child. He's who hasn't stolen $20 from their parents when they needed something, right? We all have dark sides. We all have moments that we're not proud of, but rarely seen. And this is the main character. This is usually someone you'd be a side character and died in the first episode. But his approach to everything is interesting. Like when he has his ID taken, right? Everyone, like his friend with the lawyer, he's all stoic. He's like, he's such an odd character.
And Lou, I think so.
Yeah, and so offbeat. What I wanted to talk about is the design aspect, because again, very different approach to this different culture. I love the mask with the squares, circles, triangles.
Remind me of PlayStation.
Yeah.
Yeah, seriously.
Where's the score?
I love also the design of the front office. The mask is so fucking well thought out. It's so shocking and in your face, but has style at the same time. And all the little nuances, like when you know what the game is, right? People are starting to die. And then he puts on "Fly Me to the Moon," right? And you see people dying, but with this most gentle, soul-warming song. There's a juxtaposition of something horrible with a classic Sinatra song. Little moments like that, little things like that they do, I find was just really a standout for me.
I did like how in the beginning, like I know how like they're making the main character kind of, like gambling problem, all this other stuff, but there were just like little moments to where you could see that he does have good character. Like when he wins all that money, he does give a tip to the lady cashing him out, even though he does go back like 20 minutes later and asks for it back. But still, there's just like these moments that show that he's actually like good deep down, which over the series you see that more on how when they end up forming a team with a few of his friends, and like you can see he's definitely like the heart and soul of trying to get everyone to survive, and he's just not looking out for himself, even though he wants that money just like everyone else that participates in the games.
Yeah, it goes to show too, like when push comes to shove, a lot of people, their dark sides come out. His good sides come out.
Yeah.
In real life, his dark side come out because his actions has consequences. But when things are serious, most people, and we do see it in the episode, most people really lose their humanity, where he gains his humanity, which is an interesting story arc.
I didn't even think about that. That's pretty interesting. To where it seemed like everyone that went there kind of went darker, but he actually went lighter. Like he always like helped the old man out,
Right.
and yeah, that's pretty cool.
I like the old man dynamic between him and the old man was just outstanding, especially when you get into the second episode, which we're not going to talk about. But I thought the dynamic and the chemistry with him just works because of the fact he has an elderly mother, and he's actually looking out for this elderly man, and he's trying to help him. But at the same time, this elderly man, I like how he's just moving swiftly at red light, green light. And you can tell that his eyes is on that prize to actually win. And that's the dynamic that I liked about him. He was the only one that was pretty much the smart one in there. The lawyer, though, his stockbroker friend, the main character's stockbroker friend, was also smart. And also, too, you also see another character that winds up helping him out as well, too. Yeah. Where basically, as soon as it turns...
So why don't we start from the beginning to when they start red light, green light? So they really don't know that they're going to die when they start these games. So they just know that the more people that get eliminated, the bigger cash that they receive at the end. So they all go up top. It's like this little dirt path. There's a tree with this giant robot chick on it. When she says green light, you run forward. Red light, you have to stop. If you move after she says red light, you're eliminated. Well, it's like those two kids in the beginning. They're kind of cocky and they're kind of like, oh, yeah, let's race. So the one guy runs up. And then everyone stops. He kind of moves a bit. Boom, he gets shot and falls down. And everyone's kind of like confused at first. Like what just happened? Then they say green light again. His buddy goes up to him, fucking flips him over, and like blood just shoots out. So then he flips out, gets shot. Then that's when I think this is when all the stakes went, holy shit. Because everyone starts flipping out and running, and then everyone is just getting gunned down as they move. Like that scene I thought was just like crazy. I was like, oh my God.
It kind of reminds me of Suicide Squad in a sense, where you have all these where you have all these other side characters. They don't know what to expect with this game or anything. They're thinking, okay, this is just a childish game with this animatronic, and nothing's going to happen to me. And then all of a sudden, their actions has consequences behind everything. Yeah. And their own actions is what kills them. Kind of like the addiction that they have with money and the handling of money is basically their addiction would actually kill them anyways. That kind of thing. So it's basically on that kind of concept too. That's the way I looked at it.
Sorry, go ahead.
I was just going to comment on what John said earlier. Like, keep going with that, where you're saying that his buddy they had two different methods on surviving red light, green light. One was to actually play the game, and the other one was to play it but kind of cheat by hiding behind other people.
Which is a smart thing to do, man. Like, you can get shot. I'm not gonna go bravado and be like, I can't stop myself to save my life, right? I have zero mobility control. Okay, I flap everywhere when I walk half the time. So I would do the same, and to any advantage you can get, the better it is. Damn it! Now I lost my train of thought before you talked. Once I get it, I'll speak again.
The problem if you hide behind somebody and they get shot, wouldn't you get shot as too? Because the bullet would just go right through the guy into you.
Well, if you watch the people that were doing that technique, they were ducked down, they were crouched while they were doing it. So I guess they would assume that they would take it in the head or the chest.
Sorry, go ahead, John.
It's okay, but no. If you remember though, too, his broker friend, he even said, "Hey, look, squat down to where they can't see you, and you'll be okay as long as you're behind somebody." And I definitely like the strategy because they're actually thinking of survival. They're actually thinking of ways to survive this. And also, too, his friend is scared to death because as soon as he sees people dropping off, he doesn't know what to do or anything like that. So he actually had to get some help from his friend to be able to help him out. And then also, too, when you get into the other part where once again they're trying to run, there's a body that's underneath him, and he winds up almost tripping over the body. And if it wasn't for this other guy that was next to him or behind him, he would have been the next one to die.
Yeah.
And I like the fact that you have that guy.
I just remembered my thought. It's Again, like these players came in saying hey, you can win a shitload of money, get your problems completely erased. But this goes to show you that the lesson in life is there's no easy way out. You got yourself into $46 billion. It's not yens, I forgot their currency, but a big town amount of debt. Well, to get out of it, it's going to be as hard as what you got into. There's no easy way out in life. You want to erase all your problems and live the good life. There's dire consequences to that.
Yeah.
And not to mention that in the red light, green light, if you don't cross the finish line by that time limit, you just die already too. So that was the other element too. I'm like, oh shit, I'm gonna get shot if I move, but if I don't cross it, I'm gonna get shot too. So it's like that was even more pressure on every one of them. But I think I want to go back because of the whole gambling addiction thing. I didn't. I think I saw a movie like the movie Focus with Will Smith and Margot Robbie that came out in 2016. Essentially, Will Smith's a gambler, and every time Will Smith won, he's bet again, and that just made me scream at the TV, "Dumbass, no!" I mean, I guess I don't know. I mean,
it's an addiction.
Yeah, that's what degenerates do.
Yeah, I mean, it's an addiction, but it just makes me. I mean,
that was just a good line, John. So casual. That's what degenerates do.
I mean, it's just I don't know. It's just for me. It's like it's hard to root for him. I was like, yeah, you won, and then you bet. I mean, yeah, it's the addiction, but it just makes me harder to root for you if you're just like going to keep doing this stuff. So I'm like, until I mean, you hit rock bottom, but I guess hopefully rock bottom was him almost dying. I don't know, but. I don't know. I just for me that just added in like I just thought of that like gambling addiction. That's why I didn't really care for that movie Focus as much because I hated him. You was won money,
but
and he lost it all.
It shows the real human parts. I mean, like usually when you gamble, it's not necessarily just for the money you're going for. It's for
the high,
the rush, exactly the high. The you might lose everything or you might win 4 times more. You don't know what's going on. There's a whole psychology to that, right? And that's what makes us human. Some people have that with, money, drugs, sex, food, but we all have our addictions, our dark sides. And I found it refreshing. And it was a good way to start out the character because, again, it's not shiny and then he goes downhill. It's the contrary. You see the worst in him and you see an evolution to something you can, almost, would I react like that in those circumstances? Could I do the things he does, right? And not go to the typical route of the human becoming beast, right? So I like that. Before because we decided in the comments we go to episode 2 and 3. I just want to hear your thoughts on first impressions of the other characters else than the main character. Is there a standout character that from episode 1 you're like, I like this person, or not even like, but found it interesting that you couldn't wait to see more of them?
For me, it's the broker and also the Indian guy that saved him, because to me the Indian guy stands out because it's like, oh, underneath all this you have someone that's actually nice and helped somebody. But like you said, Frenchie, there's actually a dark side to everybody in this show. So you
Except
actually
for him. I don't think there was a dark side to Ali.
Well, don't spoil it, but
But a little bit of a dark side to me because of what happens between his boss and him.
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
He didn't get paid.
Well, also that's true. But at the same time, that can also be counted as his boss's fault though too, because his boss did trip, or I don't think Ali actually pushed him into the machine. He just happened to just grab onto the machine and it just happened to just crush his fingers.
That wasn't his intention. It just went down that way.
It never is, right? The butterfly effect. You do one thing and other consequences follow. For me, the one that I absolutely fell in love with was the old man. From him counting the people, and he'd be like, yeah, but the number isn't a thing. He's like, I know, I'm just doing it to make sure the dementia doesn't kick in.
Yeah.
Like, leave me alone. And when the game starts, everyone's like, holy shit. He's like, ha ha ha.
Yeah, he's excited.
He was really a standout, and
Yes.
again, he's the only one that's at that age, so you can spot him out in the crowd like that, right?
Yeah.
But he just brought a certain dynamic that I found. Again, you don't always see. Usually, the old characters are older in age, are not written parts that shine through. They're just written as the old guy, the old woman, the wise person, but doesn't really have much to do in the movie. Whereas this, he's pretty front and center for a lot of the moments, right? Because again, it's the juxtaposition of he's 001 and the other one is 456. So it's like literally the other side of the scale.
Right.
And I really love this character.
Plus, it's like his reasoning for doing it is like, well, I got a tumor in my head, so fuck it. I might as well do this instead of die on a couch. So he's just gonna have fun. Like, that character is just all about having fun.
And then also too, I like how he votes. Though that's also another thing too. I thought that was actually funny. The way he votes was pretty funny too.
But before we continue on it, because that's episode 2 material, Charlie, was this someone stand out or you hated everyone equally?
I didn't really see. I stopped at episode 1. I didn't watch anything past that. I guess I don't know. I just didn't really.
Did you like any of the characters though?
But that's why. Well, yeah, no,
not really. I mean, none of them really like that. I mean, the old guy, it was kind of funny that he was the first. But I think he was number 1, and then the guy that like the Jin was 456. Like I just felt that. I mean, that was okay. Like, I mean, again, I don't know. I haven't seen too much to really fully invest in everybody. I don't really have any standouts to me. But then again, I only watched the first episode, and I wasn't really that much of a fan to continue on. But that was me personally.
Okay. But with episode 2, what I liked about it was, like I said before, with the dynamic with the old man and the main character talking. And I liked how, like you said, Sean, he opens up to him and explains to him why he even wants to do this game. He has a tumor. He might as well just go on ahead and do it anyways, because he's going to die anyways. Either he's going to die in his bed, die at home. So what better way to do it than just go on ahead and let somebody else do it and play a game and play along with it. But another thing, though, too, that's actually heartbreaking is seeing the damage that's being done to the little girl also. But
his daughter.
Yeah, his daughter. And then also too, this makes me laugh though. After they voted, they're not going to do the game anymore or anything like that. My favorite thing is at the police station, where basically the main character goes to the police station, explains to them, look, we were playing this dangerous game it's called Squid Game. And basically what happens is that we can actually earn money for playing this game. And they're like, well, what kind of game was it? Red light, green light.
Yeah.
and then everybody died because they didn't stop on red. So, but I like that dynamic, the dark comedy with it. I thought the dark comedy really does a really good job with it, to be honest with you.
Yeah, the facial expressions of the cop were pretty. Yeah, that was a pretty good scene.
I love the fact that certain movies were like, yeah, you're crazy, go away. But the cop tried. He's like, you have the card. All right, look, you might be nuts, but you have something. We'll call it. And then the woman answers and like, who are you? What game? What the fuck are you talking about? So at least a police person tried to really help him.
Yeah.
And it's just shit is there's like he has no luck, right? But I like this episode more. Like I love the ending of the first one. But again, I do agree the opening of the first episode was a bit longer, was building up to something. Whereas to be honest, this one was interesting because I was not expecting the direction they were going. I thought they were going full game
just
every
ramp
episode,
it up,
wrap it up, and then they're like, let's vote. Well, even before going, let's vote, people are starting to bring the arguments, right? So, and you see the human nature, people bringing their kids into the picture. People are be like, fuck, I need the cash, and really trying to argue amongst each other, and then to vote. In my mind, like I said, when I saw the old guy last vote, he has a tumor in his brain. Obviously, he's going to be like, fuck it, let's play.
Yeah, that's what I thought too.
Me too.
I think they really played on our expectations, and then fuck it, let's stop the game. And then I was shocked. I was like, where is this headed? if the game's over, what the fuck? And
Yeah.
I love that they really
too.
did not go. They went against the grain, and I was hooked in episode 1. I was definitely hooked, and knowing I'll binge watch a share of the show because of the little twists and turns that they gave us unexpected things.
Now, just to bring Charlie back in, like, would you? So let's say you owed, I don't know, someone like $1 million. Would you? And someone offered you the same deal that they offered the main character in this. Would you take it?
Mm,
You'd get more than $1 million. You get, let's say $60 million if you win.
I don't know. I don't think I'm not that risk taker, to
But-
be honest. I don't think
but-
I'd do it.
I think if I didn't have kids, I would.
I'm not athletic,
Right.
so I don't think I would be able to succeed.
Hey, there's an old man not dying.
He gets
okay,
far,
right?
man.
Yeah, he
Yeah,
gets
yeah.
far.
I don't think I would do it. I'm not that risk taker. I don't know. I probably would say no. And to go on your point, like the whole idea of ending the game. So again, I know what happens in the show. The whole idea of that, it sounds like Lost. Sounds like, oh, okay, we got out of it. Damn it, now we gotta go back to the island.
No.
Then we gotta go back. Now we gotta
No.
go back to that. It just seems like the back and forthy kind of thing. It's just like, if
Luckily,
anybody
they only
has
do it
seen-
once, though.
Yeah.
Yeah. If you
Here's
ever
the
seen
thing.
Lost, well, too bad. I just they go back and forth between the island and home. Man, I gotta go back to the island. I really left something there. I need to go back. It's like the whole
See-
top. He's like, make up the mind already. It's like not. It's like not like your lives are gonna get any better.
You see, for me, I only invested in 3 episodes so far, but even I could tell that there's a difference between Lost and this. With this one, it's about these people still want to invest their time in playing a game that might kill them, and they're basically saying, well, if I don't go ahead and do this, I'm gonna be owing a tons of money anyway, so I'm gonna have to do this game. So they are invested into wanting to go back to that game and figure out a way to bring themselves back into the game, regardless of the fact that it can kill them. That's where I feel like that this show is actually telling us these people are scared, but at the same time, they actually need to go back into the game and figure out a way to get back in because of the fact that they said, well, we'll reach out to you when we go on ahead and get another game going. So it's like, damn, how do I get back into this? How do I reach out to them? Do they reach out to me? How does this work?
Again, this is a recurring theme for me in the show, but it's human nature. In the moment they panic, they're like, I can actually die. Not worth it. Fuck this shit. I'm out. Right? But when you go back to your reality, when that fear goes away and you're back to owing money and your mom is diabetically shit happens, or you can't feed your daughter, or you can't even, pay your rent, you kind of realize life is not worth living, and might as well risk it all and maybe die to go back to what I put myself into, right? And I think there's only around 30 players, give or take, that didn't return.
Yeah, that's the cool part, is like you had a 50-50 split essentially on the vote.
Yeah.
And then when they're allowed to come back, the majority of them came back.
Because
So
reality
they're just
sucks.
Yeah,
Yeah.
they're just like, fuck it, I guess I'll do it. Which that's what I do like, because like they even sign away, like they have a contract and everything. So like in Alice, I think we mentioned Alice in Borderlands earlier, but Alice in Borderlands, they were essentially just like abducted.
Yeah.
And these people go into this knowing that I may die now doing this, but I'm still gonna do it. I don't know. I like that aspect because it's like it kind of takes away the you don't feel bad for them, I guess, as much. Like you still feel bad, obviously, if you like a character and they die in this, but you don't feel terrible because like they knew this going in.
Yeah, like whereas the first game, like you said, it's a surprise, right? People don't expect to die, but now, like you said, they know what they're expecting, and it kind of ramps up the focus. This is, I know what I'm going into. I want that money. I understand the consequences, and it kind of builds the strategy now. Like the ante is up, so the gameplay is even more up, and might as well, unless people, you guys have other things to say about this episode. Since we're talking about ante, I say we talk about honeycomb.
Yeah.
Yeah,
All
we can
right.
talk about Honeycomb.
Because this personally is my favorite episode. I love
Yeah.
the other games. The simplicity, the uniqueness of what I saw in the structure of the game. Again, American would have been dark, guns everywhere
Why
and
don't you explain the game of Honeycomb real quick, in case people don't know what it is.
Okay, a honeycomb, which is I've never played it in my life. It might be a Korean thing, but in play parks, there's always this person who makes a honeycomb type of figure with sugar and honey, and
Like a
there
little
is
snack.
a little snack. There's either a umbrella, a square, a triangle, or a star, and the purpose of the game is you have to be able to get out the symbol in the middle of the honeycomb without breaking any of the edges. The consequences of doing so in this game is you break an edge, there's literally someone next to your head with a gun,
Yeah.
and if you break it, they shoot you.
Holy
Yeah.
crap!
What? That wasn't episode 3?
It is.
It
John
is.
said he hadn't seen it yet, though.
Yeah, I'm
Oh.
starting episode 3, but go on though, man. Because seriously, I like that concept because it kind of reminds me of, in a weird way, it kind of reminds me of the NES Super Nintendo game of Donkey Kong Country with the honeycomb stuff. For some reason, my mind is going there first.
Okay. Well, in that case, I thought you. I did not pay attention. I thought you've seen the episode.
I'm starting episode 3, but I'm gonna let you guys geek out and everything, and I'll ask questions about it and do it that way. Let you guys
It's gonna be
freestyle
hard
it a little
without
bit.
spoiling anything, but
Yeah, it's like I feel like, and you said this is your favorite episode, and I was thinking about it because I really did like this episode. Like, let's try to talk about it without spoiling it too much. Maybe we can try that.
Okay. Well, I'll say a word. The alliance is starting to form. You can see there's. Yeah. Go ahead.
Yeah, alliances start to form, and you actually see a lot of who's going to be kind of the main characters in the show, and you kind of get a good feeling of who their true or what their true character is. Like certain characters do certain things that you're like, man, that's fucked up, and then it kind of just like ramps up from there to what they do.
And goes to what we're talking about in episode 2 that now they know what the stakes are. Again, the true side comes out because now they understand they can die from it. So no more need to be polite. No more need to play politics. This is you or me, right? And some people will understand that for it to continue, they have to align themselves or they have to play dirty, right? So I in this episode, for me, the standout was the crazy woman. I forgot, with the curly hair.
Yeah, the one who just lies constantly.
I wanted to smack her with a shovel. I swear to God. But yeah, it's again, without telling too much, it's oddly the most relaxed but stressful episode because again, there's no traps going on. There's no people going in flames. It's 20 minutes of some people sitting down on the ground with a little Q-tip thing and trying to not break the figure and people getting shot here and there. Again, it's so simple. Not much is going on, but the level of stress you feel during the whole episode out of simply is bravo to the people who made this show.
Oh, wow. Like I said, I'm definitely interested in seeing the rest of the show and binge watching it. I wouldn't mind us going through, we can continue off with 3 through 9 if you wanted to do the rest of this, but I wouldn't mind binging it and doing a full review of this because I definitely like this.
This show, like, I don't know, it takes a lot to get me into to watch shows, like especially sit down and watch them all the way through. And I mean, I had 3 nights and I really didn't have a lot of free time, but all my free time was designated to watching this show.
Well, that's me, for example, too. I mean, I've been busy with the film festival and stuff like that. I didn't have time to actually sit down and invest in a TV show. And plus, it's hard for me to invest in a TV show sometimes because I have other ideas floating in my head on what I want to do for the podcast and stuff. But once Frenchie presented it to me and everything, and then, I actually had a free night last night a little bit. And I'm like, you know what? I'm going to check this show out. And at first, I'm like, the dialogue was not flowing right for me. There's certain things that I didn't really like, and then all of a sudden, the show just changes its tone. It goes from being ridiculous to going dark. And I like how it changes its tone and the atmosphere into the first pilot episode. Because it could actually just be that long drawn out thing of a guy on a bad luck. He runs into a guy at the train station. He gives him some money, slaps him before for not playing the game right or anything, and then he goes about his day like nothing even happened. So I like the dynamic with it. I like the game of survival. I like that everybody's now out for their own selves in episode 3 based on what you guys are saying. It makes me want to invest even further into this and see how deep these layers actually go.
I would say try also watching it in Korean with English subtitles if you can. Like if you're into that, I know some people aren't, but I think you get the inflections a lot better.
Yeah.
Like to where you can really capture the emotions going on. Not that the English voice actors are bad, but it's usually hit or miss on a lot of dub stuff. So
that's why I probably feel like that it feels like an anime in a sense because it's dubbed.
So
so that's probably
especially like
why
80s anime had very corny like English acting. So
right. So I can understand why now that I actually feel like that it had like a little bit of an anime kind of flavor to it.
But yeah, it's I'm glad you liked it because again, for me, usually I won't recommend something to someone or be pressing to do a podcast episode if I haven't seen the series completely. When I wrote to you like, oh my god, you have to see this, and we have to. I was at episode 4. I didn't even see the whole thing.
Is 4 Tug of War?
Yeah. Well, okay. Well, we're not gonna go to.
I'm just saying the game. That's just the title. It's the title. It's the title.
Okay,
I'm not saying anything else.
But yeah, that was
Tug of War is fucking awesome. That's one of my. I think that's my favorite episode.
That's your.
And you see,
it's very close for me because the stakes are real in a sense that it made me cringe. Like the rest is like tense, but this is like I wouldn't want to do that one. I fucking wouldn't want to do that one.
And you see, Frenchie, when you messaged me, and it's rare that you messaged me and hyped up for something.
Yeah.
And when you are hyped up for something, you go full committed on it. Yeah. I'm like, okay, this is a show that I need to check out and invest in and everything and see what this is that got you so reeled up to message me. And it's like, I want to do a review on this. I'm like, what? Because usually we're all about movie news podcasts, things like that when you're on and everything, playing it on the safe angle a little bit, but we are getting into some movie reviews and stuff like that we've been doing. But, you know, for you to be excited about something makes me that much excited to actually check something out. And for you to have that positive word of mouth like that, I was like, okay, I got to figure out an angle on when I can actually do this. And finally, I had a free night to do it.
And the reason why I don't usually do reviews is the lack of time, right? It's
right
to with the kid, with my work, or especially with the work I had more recently in the past. I really didn't have time, and I still don't have a lot of time. But go show how good it is like Sean. Every second, I would go in from work, I would have to pick up my kid in 2 hours. Nice, I have an hour at least to watch an episode. I'm fucking watching this. It's very rare I go into that mode. And
that's how I felt binge watching season 1 of Stranger Things, because I was like, with season 1, I'm like, I know I have to go to work. I know that I want to watch the rest of this, but damn, this is some good writing. And then this, and also to see you have that same kind of feeling going into watching this and everything, I'm happy that you found something that you love watching.
To the point that I hope my bosses aren't watching. But one time I'm like, you know what? I'm working from home and finishing the last 3 episodes. And fuck the tickets. I'm gonna find a way to do them tomorrow. I did a bit of tickets, but I was getting paid to watch the Squid Games. Again, hope you're not watching this, or I'm being recorded.
Because you know you'll be in HR tomorrow.
But no, seriously, it's very rare I get addicted like that. But when they happen, I get really full into it. And I can't remember the last show I got addicted like this.
Yeah, it's been a while since I think maybe The Witcher or Dexter, something like that. Maybe like it's been a long time since a show like it's come on that I really wanted to like I was like, all right, we're done. We gotta watch another episode.
Sweet Home might have been my last one that I was really excited for, which is another Korean show.
Oh,
it's like a Korean horror to where like these people are stuck in a hotel and they're turning into monsters. It's pretty cool.
I kind of do the same with Alice in Borderland, but again, I wasn't as invested. There's things I think I've missed here and there because at one point I just put the English dub version because I was working at the same time. At least I can hear it.
Yeah.
But it was fun. But again, it didn't bring me in. The concept is really cool, but there's something again about the human aspect, the human characters of some really bad people or some people that you wouldn't see normally that really got me sucked in. Before we close it, since me and you are the only ones who've seen the whole thing, without revealing anything, Sean, on a scale 1 to 10, what would you rate 1 being very low, 10 being the fucking most mind-blowing thing ever, the twist at the end? And we can go back to it after.
Twist at the end. I don't know. I'm trying to think because I was tired and I was really drunk when I saw the end. I would say an 8. Just because I was so mad about some of the main characters' decisions at the end. To where like I wasn't like super pissed to where I was like, this show sucks. But I wasn't like, this is the best show ever. And I think it was just because of that. Because I didn't understand why he didn't do certain things.
I kind of
did.
I kind of understand what you mean, but at the same time, again, it's they're human, right? Because not everyone makes the right choices or the choices that are obvious because in the moment, there's no rule book. There's no. It's just you do what you need to do.
But there's one thing he should have done, and we can talk about it near the end. But he should have done one instead of waiting like so long to do it.
Me personally, the twist I'm referring to, I would solidly give it a 9, and it brought light to everything. It made sense of everything in a way that I just rewatched the first episode for this thing, and now rewatching it, it's even more enjoyable watching it now because you have that one added addition of information that really makes you go, well, this is why, this is that, but yet it kind of like just passes over your head if you don't know that information, yet it's so fucking obvious.
Yeah. I will say that I did not see that coming. Usually I can kind of guess the endings, but that I didn't. Yeah, I did not see it coming from a mile away.
I had a holy shit moment, and I can't wait for you, John, to get to there because you'll see.
Charlie, power through it.
He already knows. He read it.
I don't know. It's hard. I was reading through it. I was like, wait, who are these guys? There's like the details are so in detail. I was like, what's going on? I'm like, no, I got other stuff.
So with that being said, that's going to be it for tonight's podcast. I hope that you guys enjoyed Squid Games Season 1, Episode 1 and 2 review with a non-spoiler-ish review of Episode 3. But we are going to do a spoiler review for 3 through 9 since we weren't able to do a full spoiler-ish kind of show for Episode 3. But my question for you, Frenchie, is where can everybody follow you at if they want to go ahead and follow you on social media and all that other good stuff?
Well, merci, my man. You can find me on 2 channels. On Schmoes of the North, my channel. We have a bunch of shit. We got wrestling. We got Schmoedown. We got a lot of stuff. You have an interest, we probably talk about it on my channel. You can also find me on Saturdays from 2:30 to 4. Speaking of Schmoedown, I usually produce, by exception, J-Way can't make it for next show. I'm actually hosting the show, and we got Ty Lieberman, or The Tyrant, and we got King Khan, and it's going to be an amazing show. We're also trying to find a fourth guest will soon to be announced, but we also have Nancy Rodriguez coming back as guest co-host, and Double D doing its sexy numbers like usual.
Okay. So Frenchie, I was actually on your wrestling on the channel, one of the wrestling shows by Dagan. Yeah, I was on that a couple weekends ago. I was on that. He was talking to AEW, my experience in Chicago at All Out.
Oh, sweet.
Well, thank you for being.
And guys, you guys can go on ahead and follow me underneath Movie Lovers TV Lovers 9 on Facebook, and of course on Pinterest and on Instagram underneath the same brand name. Then of course, we're actually doing a little bit of a charity event right now with Two Blur Girls podcast. We're actually selling some Scentsies right now. All the proceeds go over to the victims of Hurricane Ida. So go on ahead, get yourself a Scentsy. All the proceeds go over to the Red Cross. And then, of course, if you want an audio only podcast of our episode, you can get that where you guys get your major podcast at. And of course, we're also on Good Pods right now. Matter of fact, we're on the Good Pods recommends list right now. So that's something that I'm really excited and happy about. And we're actually number 2 on the list of on our rankings right now. So that's actually something else that I'm really proud of. Then, of course, guys, you guys can go on ahead, follow me underneath Movie Lovers Unit on Twitter, and of course, Movie Lovers Unit 001 on TikTok as well. And then, of course, you guys can also reach out to me at Movie Lovers TV Lovers Unite at gmail.com. That's another way that you can actually reach out to me on that as well. And then, of course, if you want to go on ahead and donate to the page, how do you do that? You just go to www.gofundme.com/movie lovers podcast, and that's everywhere you can reach out to me on. And keep an eye on the channel. I have some more guests coming in from the Holly Short Films Festival and things like that. We're reviewing some more short films. Frenchie was actually a guest of mine on one of the ones that we did, and we actually enjoyed that one.
Criminal.
And then of course I had Jay Wade on for one of the episodes as well. So go ahead and check those out as well. If you like short films or like indie projects, check that out. And don't forget to like, don't forget to subscribe, don't forget to smash that little box on the very bottom where that bell is. Smash that to allow everyone to know that we have some new content coming out. And always until next time, guys, it's been real. It's been fun. I can't wait to do this again. Thank you, Frenchie, for joining me. Thank you, Sean.
Bonsoir.
And thank you, Charlie, as well. And always until next time. Bye-bye.
See you.